You watch, President Bush will do that before Christmas. Good evening. This is Thursday, November 6th, 75 days until the inauguration of President-elect Barack Obama. The election may be over, but the short, sharp shocks for the Republican Party are not. It was at Guilford County, North Carolina, that Alaska Governor Palin first implied that some parts of this nation were more patriotic, more American than others. This just in, turns out that Sarah Palin's Real America was also in the tank for Obama. He took Guilford County in a landslide. Obama for president in Real America, 59-41. As goes Guilford County, so goes the Tar Heel State. NBC News having today declared President-elect Obama the projected winner of North Carolina's 15 electoral votes, the first Democrat to win that state since Jimmy Carter in 1976. That puts the electoral count at 364 for Mr. Obama, 173 for Senator McCain, one electoral vote in Nebraska still to be allocated. President-elect Obama also with a new chief of staff at this hour, officially naming fellow Illinois lawmaker Rahm Emanuel to one of the most powerful jobs in government this afternoon, saying in a statement that he believes the Chicago congressman has what it takes to carry out his agenda. Quote, "No one I know is better at getting things done." Mr. Emanuel, chairman of the Democratic caucus, said to dream of being Speaker of the House, apparently willing to sacrifice that dream for another end. Quoting him, "I'm leaving a job I love to join your, Obama's, White House for one simple reason. Like the record amount of voters who cast their ballot over the last month, I want to do everything I can to help deliver the change America needs." House Republican leader John Boehner calling Emanuel, quote, "an ironic choice for a president-elect who has promised to change Washington." But just how much off orbit the Republicans' planet has spun, indicated by the fact that Senator McCain's arch supporter, Senator Lindsey Graham, putting out a statement that stepped all over Boehner's. Quote, "This is a wise choice by President-elect Obama. Rahm knows Capitol Hill and has great political skills. He can be a tough partisan, but also understands the need to work together. He is well suited for the position of White House Chief of Staff." Now for the transition speculation du jour. Chief campaign strategist David Axelrod, rumored to be Obama's senior advisor, and Robert Gibbs, Obama's campaign communications director, looking to be his choice as White House press secretary. The president-elect and his wife, Michelle, to travel to Washington Monday to go to the White House. She to tour the private residences with the current First Lady, Laura Bush. He to meet with President Bush in the Oval Office. Hopefully each avoids Barney. This morning on the South Lawn, Mr. Bush directing hundreds of federal employees to make this transition as seamless as possible.
While the honor is great, the work is temporary. This is true for many of us here today. This peaceful transfer of power is one of the hallmarks of a true democracy. And ensuring that this transition is as smooth as possible is a priority for the rest of my presidency. We face economic challenges that will not pause to let a new president settle in. So over the next 75 days, all of us must ensure that the next president and his team can hit the ground running.
Tomorrow, bringing the first Obama news conference since the election. Today, in the absence of cameras, the vice president-elect telling reporters that the Obama administration will need everybody's help on Capitol Hill, even, especially, Senator John McCain's.
John's still my friend. I said, John, I need you. We need you. This is an opportunity. We really mean what we said. I mean, when Barack and I met yesterday, and we'll be meeting every day for a while till we flesh out this cabinet and everybody else. And but we really mean it. We got to reach out, man. I mean, you can't get from here to there. Just Democrats. You can't do it.
Time now to call in our own Richard Wolff, senior White House correspondent for Newsweek magazine. Richard, good evening.
Good evening, Keith.
The vice president-elect reaching out to Senator McCain, Senator Graham, praising Congressman Emanuel as chief of staff. If it is a honeymoon period, if it is a spirit of bipartisanship, did John Boehner get that memo, or are the Republicans really still in a kind of shocked chaos that they're coming out with two of their remaining leaders saying entirely different things?
Well, there is a state of shock there for Republicans and certainly a lot of chaos for them to work through. I don't think there's much strategic thinking that's going on here. You have a newly elected president-elect who has a clear mandate from the people, and Republicans have to figure out, especially leadership in Congress, whether they're going to play nice for a period, whether they're going to oppose him from the get-go. And the problem here is that Rahm Emanuel, while he has a clearly hard-driving reputation, also has a lot of Republican friends out there, and Lindsey Graham is one of them. So the idea that whether it's John Boehner or anybody else, the RNC put out its own statement, can sort of demonize this White House before it gets together is short-sighted. I think they need to figure out a strategic path when stuff happens, not before it does.
Speaking of bipartisanship and graciousness, truly, President Bush evinced both of those things today at that session with the staffers inside the White House. Why couldn't the last 8 years have been more like this, or even occasionally like that?
Well, it's a great question, and certainly one that's been uppermost in the minds of some of the Texas folks who traveled to D.C. with President Bush 8 years ago. I think there are two sides to President Bush here. There is the sort of above the fray, bipartisan, uniter, not a divider guy, and that's his self-image. So this transition planning has been shaped by the kind of president he thinks of himself as being and would like to be. In fact, there is this other President Bush that we've seen all too often, the one who put the sort of Rovian politics into everything from the war in Iraq on down, and that guy who didn't grasp the moment of the disputed election of 2000 to really build something bipartisan is maybe the one who had too much power, and the other Bush is the one coming back now.
Looking forward to Rahm Emanuel as chief of staff. During the Clinton administration, he was said to have once designated a political enemy and sent him a rotten dead fish. The nickname Rombo is not just a pun. This would be quite a difference from President-elect Joe Cool over here. Is the idea that Emanuel gets to be the bad cop to Obama's good cop?
Yeah, he's also known to wave his finger, one of his fingers in the air, and where he had an accident that actually lost part of his finger. So this is a guy who does have a forthright, robust style. I actually asked people inside the Obama circle today about the good cop, bad cop idea. They really think that's kind of overplayed. Their idea here is that this is a guy who knows Washington at both ends of Pennsylvania Avenue. He can get stuff done. And most of all, he and Obama are personal friends. Their families are friendly. And it's someone that, in the end, President Obama trusts his judgment and wants to spend time with him. That's a very important piece of this job, because the chief of staff is Velcro to the president.
As we look towards the cabinet, we could spend a half an hour on rumors already, but let's just focus on one, on Lawrence Summers. There's opposition research, I mean, just opposition, never mind opposition research. There seems to be some opposition raised to the prospect of him going in as Treasury. Is there a reason that the stories are all out there? Is he being tested, floated? What's going on with Summers?
Well, Summers has lots of enemies because it's just as well he's not running for Secretary of State here. He's not a diplomatic guy, but he is a brilliant economic mind, a talented, gifted, maybe the best in his generation when it comes to an academic economist. He has got enemies out there, though, whether it's from his tenure at Harvard or some of the impolitic things he said about the third world, about pollution. I don't think this really has an impact on his position with Obama, though. Obama trusts him for his judgment on the financial crisis. He worked very hard to brief the president-elect now, and so I think the relationship will be intact in spite of these stories.
Richard Wolff of MSNBC and Newsweek, as always, sir. Great thanks. Have a good night.
Thank you, Keith.